Ripping you off harder than 13 going on 30 ripped off big. It's much ado about nothing. I'm Adam.
I'm J-Rock.
That's pretty good, huh?
Yes.
Kind of long, but it worked.
Yeah.
All right. So, last week, J-Rock here hit what milestone?
30. I am no longer a trophy wife.
You know, and this is one of those things. I mean, I know last week I came off a little villainous.
Still?
Yeah. Maybe I should have been equally offensive to all
Body types.
all sides of the coin and reference, guys looking like the guitars from Bowling for Soup, trying to mosh and crowd surf and stage dive and whatnot. But yeah, no, you say something like that. I mean, of course, first thing that goes through my head is, well, no, you never were a trophy wife, or
Dude.
well, that's what I mean. That's what I'm getting at. I'm looking for the jokes.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's oftentimes not the most kosher route to go with in a conversation or a response, but it makes me laugh. So anyway, so you turned 30.
Yes.
Thoughts on it?
I'm excited.
For what?
I feel like it's your prime. Like your 30s are your prime.
No,
20s are overrated.
20s are your prime.
Everybody's like, oh, the 20, they're so great. And I look back and I'm like, I mean, there's definitely great moments, but like...
What wasn't so great about... Okay.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, there were great moments, there were great milestones, but like, me as a person...
Okay, yeah, purple mustache right here.
Me as a person... I feel better coming into my 30s than I did in my 20s.
Than you did in your 20s?
Yeah.
In what way?
Well, and I mean, we were going to touch on it, but I guess I'll touch on it now.
Well, I mean, I'm just looking for like general thoughts on turning 30. Like, what is it about turning 30 that makes you say, oh yeah, this is better than when I was in my 20s? Like, is there anything in particular, like...
Well, yeah, like I said, we were going to touch on that. So
Okay. I didn't know if like off... for instance, okay, when you get to 55, you can start getting the discounts at IHOP and restaurants and stuff like that. Nothing like that triggers at 30. So I'm like, was there something that did for you where it's like...
I feel like people take you more seriously at 30. Like, I feel like people finally consider you an adult. Whereas when you're in your 20s, I think people, and especially like that baby boomer age, you're still like a kid to them. Like, there's kind of this, like, they don't take you seriously. It's like, oh, you're just a kid. You're in your 20s thing, and then you hit 30 and this weird thing happens where all of a sudden it's like, oh, you're an adult.
Well, I'll tell you this much. And I know, sorry, this little strand of hair is bothering me so much. And this is from my perspective, so I know it's a little...
And side note for viewers, he's 6 years older than me, so that's...
Yeah, I'm 30... Wait, how old am I? 36. I'll turn 36.
Yeah, you're turning 36.
Turning 36 this year.
Yeah, so.
So, now, this, like I was going to say, this is coming from my perspective, so it's... to call it warped is... I know for some people, it's like, oh yeah, that's an understatement. For me, age has nothing to do with being treated as an adult or being respected or anything like that.
It shouldn't, but...
Well, no, and it should... And the reason why is, for me, age has nothing to do with what it is that makes somebody respectable. Like, I mean, okay, for me, for instance, like if I'm working with somebody on something, I'm not going to look at them like, oh, your age means you're... Age doesn't automatically grant them any kind of thing. Like, I'm not going to look at them and say, oh, you're older, so you're experienced, or you're older, so you're more educated, you're older, so you're, more familiar or whatever.
Right.
Same thing with being treated as an adult. Like, it's being, like, your age. The whole point I'm trying to get at is you come across some people who are in their 30s, in their 40s, acting like kids as
I know.
smart as kids. And it's like, being older doesn't automatically grant you any kind of respect
No,
because
I'm
you
with
got to
you.
have the. So then why is turning 30?
Well, because that's like the ideal. That's the like how it should be looked at. But in my experience, that tends to not be how it's looked at.
Wait, say the whole thing instead of just the. What tends not to be looked at what?
Like, I haven't. When I was through my 20s, people would look at me and be like, "Oh, you're in your 20s. You're a kid. You don't know what you're talking about." Blah, because you're in your 20s. And it's like, well, no, there's some things like I feel like I'm mature enough to do.
Yeah, it's because of your 20s, yeah. Sorry.
Such a butthole.
Okay. Well.
No, that's just my experience. I mean, maybe it's different for other people, but that was just my experience. I tended to get a lot of, and then I guess I look young, because then it was you're a teenager. No, I'm in my 20s. Which can be frustrating.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if people aren't going to respect you, they're not going to respect you.
Yeah, exactly. And it's whatever.
Well, what I'm saying is turning 30 doesn't make it any better. Age doesn't really make that much of a difference. If someone's going to look at you as inexperienced or whatever, they're going to look at you as inexperienced, so they're going to treat you that way.
Yeah, that's why I tend to just roll my eyes and move on. But still, it does on occasion get frustrating because it's like...
Or I just cut them out of things and then go over their heads and rebuff all of their patronizing when I do show them up.
You are petty.
No, I'm a very this isn't really about me, but yeah, I'm weird that way.
Just a little bit.
Keeps life interesting, at least for me. Okay, so what would you? I mean, you've been 30 now for a handful of days.
Yeah, not that long.
What, in general, I guess, like, because I know some people that can be the start of their midlife crisis, kind of. Yeah. Maybe not quite a midlife crisis, but it's where it's like, oh man, I'm getting old.
Yeah.
Like, what is it for you, like the negatives in that regard? Is it like, oh man, I'm getting old, or is there anything, or it's like reality starts to set in that?
I mean, I
has to do
think
with your age.
everybody has that when you hit a birthday, that like, oh, you're closer to death thing. But to me, it's more like, I do feel like you're
closer to death, near. Did you ever watch Party of Five?
No.
Oh, neither did I. I just knew the song. Huh?
I said, I don't know what you're talking about. I was just trying to talk.
Is a song called Closer to Free by the Bodines.
No.
We'll listen to it sometime.
Bodines. Okay.
But you said Closer to Death, and then
I know, and then now I'm okay.
Okay.
Now I remember where I was going.
Okay, continue.
No, but I feel like in society, your values tends to start decreasing the older you get. And I don't know, and maybe it's because I'm a girl, but I notice it in like all of a sudden now people are pushing, wrinkle creams, and oh no, you can't look old, you can't look like you're 30.
So much. Sorry, it looks like I got like half of a mustache here.
I know, but you keep. I'm gonna lose my train of thought.
No, it's fine. No, I know what you mean. The reality is that is the case. I mean, who you show me anybody who was okay with getting old and looking old. I mean, most people aren't.
Yeah.
There's a reason why so much money is spent on anti-aging creams and whatever kind of makeup and.
Yeah, makeup is definitely where you see it too.
Anything to stave off the appearance of being old for as long as possible.
Yeah. Although I do feel like it can be worse for women than for men. Personally.
Well,
Hi, Tux.
I could go on a whole tirade about that. That's its own podcast. I think you would agree with part of it. I think you would take umbrage with some of it.
Yeah, well, and I'm not saying men don't face it. Like, they do. But I think it's different.
For women, their most valuable thing is their looks. I mean, there's a reason why, being more than a pretty face is a thing.
Yeah.
And why it's like, don't get attached to a girl just because you think she's cute. Like, there's more to it than that.
Yeah.
And you want to find her attractive. Now we're getting into like the life lessons here.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you want to find her attractive, but that's not the most important thing because it will fade eventually.
Yeah, like attractive. It will fade eventually, and stuff happens. Like, I was talking to a friend a couple years ago about that, and like appearances and keeping up appearances, and how she felt like she had to look a certain way, and especially like in the bedroom. And I was like, you can't do that, because the thing, like, yeah, it'll fade with age, but also, like, people get cancer, people get in car wrecks, like, you never know what's gonna happen.
Well, two things. One, you want to, I mean, nobody wants to use that as their baseline. It's like, well, at least I'm not in a wheelchair. At least I have all my arms and legs. Like, you don't want that. No one's gonna look like, oh, well, I may be wrinkled, but I still got, all my limbs.
Right.
I was just say that.
When we were talking about relationships and stuff, it's like, you can't kill yourself to keep yourself looking a certain way to keep the relationship, because stuff happens.
Yeah, I mean, and it's something everyone has to accept.
Mm-hmm.
My dad always said, when I was single, in the sense of appearance and everything, the thing to remember is that everybody gets old and fat, and they do. I mean, okay, yeah, you'll get the few who are like, oh yeah, I'm they're 70 years old and they're super in shape.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's generally not going to happen. You're going to be worse off the older you get physically. You're going to get wrinkled. You're going to get old. You're going to slow down. You're going to pick up weight, and it's not going to come off that easily. Yeah. It's just part of life.
Mm-hmm.
But and that's where, going back to when you say for women it's harder, it's because you look at what's being sold to them, and like, hey, yeah, that's going to happen to everybody, but you want to hold it off for a few more years?
Yeah. It is.
Neutrogena's got some new anti-aging stuff that's, beans that are thrown through a little wavy water thing on the commercial, and then you do this to your face and then splash water on. It's like,
Mm-hmm. Well, and it's even more jacked up when you consider all of the diet stuff aimed at us too, and it's like we're screwing up our bodies to attain
not so much anymore.
Youth. Oh no. Beach body. Sorry if that offends anybody, but beach body, all these weird fringe ones where it's like, just exist on smoothies.
I know there's more to that. That's they're trying to. Everybody wants the easy way out. Mm-hmm. Things like that take a lot of effort. So any kind of shortcut is going to be appealing, and that's what gets taken advantage of, is the desire to shortcut something that you don't really want to do, which is what that is.
Yeah, no, I know.
But that's not. I mean, in any case, no. For me, when I think of like turning 30, getting older, I know it's kind of like silly stuff, but one of my, I had two things on this list here. One that I put was being out of touch with popular stuff. Like the older, like, excuse me, as time goes on, I notice like the things that I reference, stuff like that, music I listen to, not very modern, not modern, but it's not very new, not very recent.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, that's hard though, because that's to an extent a choice.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's just like at some point, and for me, it's just like the things that became popular as I got older. It's like I don't find that appealing. Very rarely do I hear a song on the radio now, a new song where I'm like, oh yeah, I like the sound of that. But it's just because that's what's popular now isn't the kind of stuff that I like.
Yeah. Well, and you are an 80-year-old trapped in a 36-year-old man.
Don't spoil the whole thing for everybody. We're gonna work our way there. Don't jump ahead. You know what you just did? You flipped to the back of the book to see who died.
I did not.
You flipped back. Which of the Weasley twins died? Oh, it was. Which one was it?
I don't remember.
The one that didn't get his ear chopped off, as big as waist. Like, just kill off the one that was missing the ear. That way, you got one whole Weasley twin instead of, one minus an ear. It's like that's all that's left of this twin. I can't remember their names. Anyway, that and then the other negative thing for me as you get older is you start looking back at life and thinking, okay, what could I have done different? Did I make the most of my life? Did I waste that? You say 30s, you're in your prime. You're not. Your prime is in your 20s. Because from there, it's downhill from there. And for me, it's like, I look at it from like a work perspective. It's like, am I where I could have? Did I maximize my time? Like, am I where? How do I phrase that? Do you know what I'm saying?
Supposed to be?
Am I as far ahead as I could be at this age? For me, I look at it like, for me, no, I'm not. And the thing for like the quote unquote good thing for me is I can point back and be like, okay, I know exactly why that is. I stuck around in my old job for too long. It's like I should have just gotten out of it, taken the pay cut, and then worked my way up. Because then by the time I hit 30, I would have been way better off.
See, but that's why I think it's your prime.
Starting it. That's the thing. I could have hit that point. I could have already been on my way. Like, I'm doing better now, but I could have been doing that 5 years ago.
Yeah, you could have, but
I should have.
At 30, you've gained the wisdom to be able to see stuff like that. Versus your 20s, you don't.
Yeah, but that wisdom does nothing to help me actually get ahead. All it does is make me acknowledge where I could have been.
Right, but when you die, you don't, your job doesn't matter. It's the knowledge and the things
it might matter to whoever gets left with my debt when I die.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, in the grand scheme of things, it's not, it's the knowledge we acquire that really matters. That's all we take with us. So I feel like your 30s is where you kind of you do get a little bit wiser for the most part. And you do, it gets easier to be more mature about stuff.
I was already aware of that when I was in my 20s. I was just a bum about it. It's like, too much work. I'll just keep doing a job I'm okay with.
Right, which is why I think the 20s are overrated. You're dumb. You don't
I wasn't dumb.
Well, no, I'm saying
I don't think I was dumb. I don't know.
In general, I feel like that's when most stupid decisions get made, is in your 20s.
Yeah, if you're an idiot.
You don't know.
I made a bunch of smart decisions in my 20s. The problem is, I'll be honest, it wasn't until after we got married I started making dumb... Well, it was kind of leading up to then. When I graduated college, the first time. The fact that I had a second time means I didn't make the right decisions the first time. But yeah, it's one of those things.
You say that, but you had a job, you could pay for our house. I didn't have to work.
And that's kind of what I'm getting at is, I say that I'm not unhappy with where I'm at now. I'm just saying I could have done better. I should have done better. But I'm also a perfectionist.
Yeah.
I'm also in role playing terms, I'm kind of a min-maxer. Mm-hmm. Do you know what that is? You don't know what that is, do you?
I'm gonna assume that's where you'll.
It's where you try to make decisions to play as perfectly as possible.
Oh yeah, see, and you can't.
Where it's there's nothing wasted. There's nothing. You know,
See,
you didn't pick you're not playing as a wizard who can fight with a sword. Because what's a sword gonna do when you're a wizard? Like, I spent all this time learning how to use a sword. I'm like, oh, that's great, but you're not made for it. You know, that's a waste of. So it's like I didn't live. You know, that's how I lived through my 20s into my 30s. But mentally, I'm the kind where it's like, no, don't learn how to use a sword because you're not gonna need to use it as a wizard.
Yeah, see, and I'm like, it could always be better. Always. Yeah. Like, even if you went back and you made those decisions you thought you should have made, you're gonna find new things where you're like, oh, well, I should have done this. I should have done. Like, it could always be better. Yeah. And so I think it's dumb. I don't know.
It's not dumb. Anyway, you gotta give. No, I'm a what?
You're a butt.
I thought you called me a butthole. I'm like, that's a little. Call me butt. That's one thing. Calling me the part where the poop comes out. That's.
I called you a butthole earlier. You missed
that's that. Right. You did. No, I didn't miss it.
Oh. Okay.
I was in the middle of trying to progress this thing.
Oh, okay.
I was just. You'd be surprised how much I catch, and I just let it. Yeah, whatever.
Oh, I know. I do the same thing.
I'm fully aware that thing just zinged by me.
Oh, I know. I do the same thing.
Whatever. You know. Okay, so those are the negatives, but turning 30 isn't all bad.
No, not
I don't
at all.
think.
Mm-mm. Not at all.
What would you say are positives? Just so you're aware, we got about 10 minutes left. So
okay, so one of them
trail on
is
like an old person.
Well, I keep getting interrupted is the problem and losing my train of thought.
Okay, but that's the fun of it.
It's not fun because then you gripe at me about
sitting there and lecturing
time.
the camera like, back in there, point number 1, if we turn to subsection A of...
I'm not lecturing the camera. You keep griping about time and then doing everything to derail me. And
it makes it entertaining. Otherwise, you drone on. Otherwise, we get the weather attack like we got that...
Okay, are you ready for me to...
Yes, okay. Give me your positives.
Okay, my positives. First of all, it's much easier to say no and I don't like this. Like it has gotten, for whatever reason, much easier to be like, no, I really don't want to do that. Or, not really comfortable with that.
Man, you don't need to be old to say that.
Well, I know, but I'm saying for me and for a lot of other people, it just gets easier to be like, no, I don't want to. Like, in my 20s, it was always like, well, what's so-and-so going to think? Am I going to upset this person? This person's going to be mad. Like, constantly. And now I'm like, I don't want to do that.
You've embraced being a bum.
Yeah, like, I don't care.
Yeah, you don't have to get to 30 to be a bum, I can tell you that much.
Okay, oh my goodness.
You could have done it earlier is what I'm saying.
Well, yeah,
going back to, what could I have done different when I was younger? You could have been a bum earlier.
But again, I was in my 20s. I didn't know.
Okay. You did. You saw me do it.
Yeah, and never mind.
You didn't learn from your elders.
No, but there's that. No. And then I've just gotten more secure in myself where, like, again, I don't care. Like, it has gotten much easier to accept that, like, people don't like me. Like, in my 20s, I think I cared way more about, they don't like me. And now I'm like, you don't like me? Cool. That's one less person I have to deal with.
You didn't get rejected enough as a teenager.
Oh, I got rejected a ton. You
didn't get rejected enough. I'm just saying, if you did like I did, you would have come to terms with that a long time ago.
Okay, well, you asked for my positives.
I know. I'm just saying
positives.
I'm just analyzing your positives compared to, or I'm just, your conclusions, whatever. No.
Okay.
Something, I don't know. Either way, I'm just saying.
Okay, well, those are my positives and my experiences.
Okay,
so.
Good. Okay. Well, for me, my positives, I only need one because this is the best part about getting older. And this is why I can't. This isn't necessarily like in your 30s because you still got 30 years of actual life ahead of you before it's like, okay, your life's over, you're done. I want to get to that point when it's like, okay, I'm done. Because I can't wait to be the old guy who just says whatever. I want to be able to walk into a restaurant and be like, man, it stinks in here.
Bear in mind, I'm probably going to be the one putting you in a home.
No.
So
I need
keep it nice.
I'm hoping to make enough money. That's my goal. I need to make enough money to where I don't need to be put in a home. And if I'm headed toward a home, I mean, put me in a car and roll me down a hill and just leave it at that.
I'm just saying you get too obnoxious and I'm going to stick your butt in a home.
No. See, and I won't be that way towards like family or anything. It's going to be more like, you know.
Yeah, we won't be able to go out in public.
Yeah, that's the thing. I want to go out in public and be like, you know, why are you wearing a hoodie? It's 90 degrees outside. You know, that kind of thing. I want to be that person. I want to say it out loud, and I want people to roll their eyes at me.
Nobody likes that person.
I don't care. I'm already not concerned. That's what I was saying. You didn't get rejected enough as a kid. I already don't care what people think about me. I'm already under the assumption that people don't like me or people don't respect me or whatever, which is great because then when I act however I want to, and then they don't respect me or don't like me, it's like, good, I already knew you didn't. You played right into my hands again. I got my way with saying what I want, and I got the response I expected.
You're going to be going out alone a lot.
That's fine.
Because
I'm going to wander around Target.
I've been around those crotchety old men, and they piss me off. So
I'm going to go wander around Target and be like, lady, you need to buy, you know, whatever. Your husband's not going to like that brand of whatever, shampoo. I want to be that guy.
It's going to be a menace to society.
You know why? Because my whole life I've had to be the mature one. I've had to be the one the responsible one. I talked about that in our last one.
Welcome being the oldest child.
Well, yeah, it's like and it just, you know, it went from, you know, I had to be responsible with, you know, I have one younger brother, had to be responsible with him when we go out. Or not responsible with him, but I mean, like, you know, I had to be the voice of reason there. Mm-hmm. And then, you know, get older, get married, you know, have kids. I got to be the responsible one with my kids, which sucks when they do something and it's so hard not to laugh at something.
The amount of times I've been trying to discipline and you're over there giggling.
It's because it's funny. I can't.
Half the time it's funny to you, not to me.
Well, I know. I mean, I know it's... Listen, it's not something where it's like I know... Or I don't know that it's wrong. I know it's like I shouldn't be laughing at it. Mm-hmm. But man, sometimes it's funny. Sometimes something gets said. I'm like... You know, the ridiculousness of it is humorous enough that I'm going to laugh in the middle of, you know, whatever when I should be punishing them or disciplining them or whatever.
Putting them to bed.
Anyway... what I'm getting at is I've had to be responsible, like, from being the oldest child, you know, getting married, being a dad. Like, I have to be responsible. I have to go to work. I have to do my job. I say go to work and work from home, but I have to do work. I have to keep my job. I gotta, you know, there's stuff that I have to do. Yeah. I can't wait till I get to the age where it's like, you know what? Nobody's going to say anything to me, or people are going to say things to me, and I'm not going to care because I'm old. They're going to write me off because I'm old, and I'm going to be okay with being written off because I'm old. Which, again, they play right into my hand. I'm getting the exact reaction that I want from them, but I get to say whatever I want. So I win there, and I win when it's coming back because I'm right.
You know what? Maybe you don't go into a home. Maybe I go into a home. Just put me in a home.
That. I don't want to pay for that.
Put me in a home with my best friend, and her and I can live in the home.
You know how much a home costs, though? I mean, you're talking like thousands of dollars a month.
If you're going to be this obnoxious in public, please put me in a home. Put me in a home with my best friend. Her and I will be in the home.
Listen, just get to the point where you don't care either. Together. Just get to the point where you don't care either, and life is going to be great. Retirement is going to be the best years of your life.
I don't have the energy for a scene, though. I don't want to be causing scenes in public.
It's not going to cause a scene, because, again, everybody's going to write you off because you're old. They're going to write me off because I'm old.
Your servers are going to be spitting in your food.
I'm not going to be going out anywhere, though.
I'm going to be.
I guess then I will ruin your dinner, and then when it's like, okay, sir, fine, what do you want? Nothing. I got my own food right here, and I'm just gonna pull out.
You put me in a home.
I'm gonna be that guy.
Let it be known.
Right.
Put me in a home when he gets to this point. My best friend, you know.
Not gonna happen. Too expensive. Okay. Well, we're out of time. So
Yeah, I need
to
sleep.
Wrap up. Any last thoughts?
I'm excited.
Me too. Probably not for the same reasons.
Yeah, probably not.
All right, that's all for this week. See you guys next time.
Bye.